I just want you guys to look at this picture. He is literally wearing the exact same pair of glasses that I have. Creepy? I think so. What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another episode discussion of Doom Patrol. This week is episode 5, Paw Patrol, and if you guys don't know, I am loving this show so far. I am recapping every single week. Not just this show, I have done recaps for Titans and Young Justice, but right now we are focusing on possibly my favorite show on the DC streaming platform, and possibly my favorite show of the year so far, and it just keeps getting better. Today we are going to talk about this episode. I'm going to tell you guys my favorite and least favorite parts, and we're just going to thoroughly describe what is happening. So a spoiler warning is being issued. I need you guys to get down in the comment section below. Tell me what your favorite part, your least favorite part was. This is your space and place to talk about Doom Patrol. And let's get into this episode. So with the cult of the unwritten book getting the D-Creator on the line to cause a large glowing eye to set up shop in the sky, our heroes are going to rely on Willoughby Kipling and a pug to save the world. So the apocalypse is in full swing in this episode. They are teaming up with unlikely people. We are also exploring Jane's past in this episode. And let's start with my favorite aspect of what Paw Patrol brought us. Now, I love the exploration of her character, and I've enjoyed what she's brought to the show so far, but this is really the first episode where I've sat back and went, you know what? Now I see where she's ended up, and we find that out at the end of the episode, and it's just all coming together so solidly with her character. We find out why she's fitting into the team, how she was discovered by Niles, and really why she's so wound up all the time, because what she went through was not fun. Oh, and speaking of Niles, we found out where he's been at the last few episodes, and I love the line by Mr. Nobody. I wasn't even in the last 2 episodes. That was hilarious and fantastic. Once again, breaking the fourth wall. That's what I love about his character, and he really provides for a good villain, or just kind of breaking the situation, because every time we come back to him, he's telling the audience what is going on, and a lot of the times that is going to bother me, but with his character, that is what we have established. This is his role, this is what he's doing, and he does it super well. I also like the line, teeny weeny peeny. I thought that was funny, and I laughed, so there you go. But as the episode started and everything was happening, all of the people are disappearing because of the eye in the sky. It is really Infinity War level stuff here, guys. People are literally turning to ash and disappearing, and I did not think this was going to happen to certain characters that we knew and loved, because it's like, okay, the Doom Patrol has to stay, they have to, or if it happens, then they will reverse it, maybe go back in time, maybe change some things, but they don't reverse it. Whoever disappears stays disappeared, and Elliot, our character that we met in the last episode, sadly becomes part of that, and I love the moment between he and Elastigirl. That was awesome. One of the best moments I have seen with her character. She is really starting to flesh out and develop. Now, she didn't get a lot of time in this episode. I believe her episode is coming, but that moment was my favorite part of this episode. My favorite storyline, like I said, was all of the stuff with Jane. We get an exploration into her character. We saw what happened then. We saw how it ties together now. And we hear that little voice in her ear telling her where to go and what to do. Now we know exactly who that is, and at the end we hear her say Doom Patrol, and I'm like, oh man, what are we in for? What is her character going to mean to the Doom Patrol by the end of this season? That is interesting. And then of course you have characters like Negative Man and Robot Man, who did not have a lot to do in this episode, but of course Robot Man, as I have been saying, is my favorite character, and every word that comes out of his mouth, whether it's like, whoa, okay, what's going on here? What are y'all doing? Why are we doing this? I was literally just a brain just now. I love everything he has to say, because what he has to say is echoing what the audience is thinking about the situation. And can we just get into how zany this episode was? I mean, the series has been crazy so far, but you've got the big talking, glowy, virtual animal coming back out and just being like, all right, here's what's happening, here's how to fix it. You got everything happening in what that lady calls it, the snow globe world. I cut somebody open and landed here. That is exactly what this show is and what it means. Now, one thing I can say about this episode is that there is a lot going on. A lot of storylines, a lot of things that they have to tie back together. And I could see how possibly someone is confused by, all right, how did we get here? Why did the pug shoot the thing in the sky? And why is there another eye looking at this? There's a lot happening in this episode. And I'm not going to say it made me like the episode any any less because I love this episode. I think it's just as crazy and wacky as the rest of the show has been, maybe even more so. But if you're not paying attention, if you look away for like 2 to 3 minutes, you will be lost and confused. And I feel like the show could be a bit more streamlined. That's not a huge complaint, just something I noticed. Overall, though, I believe this episode was really a good time. There is a lot to be said with where this team is going, how they're coming together, and we saw the way that it ended. The Chief gets taken once again by Mr. Nobody, gets sucked back into the portal, and then Cyborg's arm gets blown off. I am interested to see what happens with his character. Now, we saw at the end he's healing up and whatnot, but as the explosion happened, and even when the alarm was going back off, I'm like, could they take out Cyborg? No, they're not going to do that because Cyborg has to meet up with the Titans eventually, but I felt the stakes. I felt everything leading up to that moment in the episode, and we finally get Chief back, and then he's taken from us once again. I think that proves how good of a villain Mr. Nobody actually is, and just how well this show is being written. I feel the stakes, I feel the emotion from the characters, especially Robot Man, because he's saying everything that everyone is thinking, and episode 5 of Doom Patrol was a really good episode. Is it my favorite? I'll have to sit down and think about it, but it was one of the more entertaining episodes, even though there wasn't a lot of hand-to-hand combat action, but I don't need that with this show. I like exploring the characters, having conversations with them, and then every now and then you get to see them be that superhero team that I think we all expect from the Doom Patrol. But this show gives me nothing I expect, and I'm absolutely okay with that. Get down in the comments section below. Let me know, did you guys like this episode? Did you not like this episode? Next week, as always, I'm back with more episode 6 of Doom Patrol, and later on today, I have so many things coming out. I have a review for the brand new movie Captive State and Love, Death, and Robots, the brand new series on Netflix. It is so far so good, and I will tell you guys how I feel about the full thing midday today. You are the absolute best. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will be back with more Doom Patrol next Friday.